Happy New Year 2014. So we're going to kick off this Piney News. Now, Piney News is back, but we're doing things differently, all right? And the only subjects we're going to be talking about have to do with the Pine Barrens. That's why we're calling it Piney News, all right? And that's why I should have done the first time, but I feel compelled to do this because we got a couple of environmental stories that I really need to talk to you about, all right? And I think the first one is going to be regarding EPCAL and Riverhead. Now, Sean Walter was reelected in November. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with the voters in Riverhead. Obviously, they don't really seem to care about the environment. But they reelected him. Now, if you don't know Sean Walter, think about all that's happened since he has become Town Supervisor of Riverhead. All right, we have lost a significant amount of Pine Barrens in Riverhead. Across from Tanger, I showed you those. You can take a look at them.
This is a view. This is a satellite view across from the Tanger Outlet Center. All right, and this is an older satellite view that we're looking at right now. And this is before the destruction occurred. Across now, if you look at my hand here, this used to be a nice little area, Pine Barrens. And I'll tell you, it used to be a beautiful, small area, but a beautiful area. You could actually see all the pines there. Looking at it, it's beautiful. A little area right across from Tanger. That is gone. All right, here's a more current satellite view of the area. That's all gone, and this is what we have in its place. A new Walmart coming and another little shopping center over there. This was all knocked down, despite all my protests, despite my letters, despite my calls to the Pine Barrens Society, despite my calls to the New York State DEC. Remember, we found that turtle there. Despite all what I did, we couldn't stop this. All right, and there's more, though. There's more, unfortunately. This is the other area that we lost. And this is a pretty sizable area here. This is the Hazeltine property, all right? And there used to be a Hazeltine industrial thing over here. It used to be a little industrial. But the rest was all wooded, all Pine Barrens. As you can see, you have Foxwood Village off to the north and the Millbrook community off to the east. And we zoom in here, and you can see this was another little beautiful area of Pine Barrens. Mature, more of a mature forest, but beautiful nonetheless. I've actually seen pink lady slippers in here. But this, too, is also gone and is now this. That's right, this. Let me zoom out a little so you can get the scale of that. Yep, that's right. This also, despite my protests, despite my letters, despite all my calls, they were given permission to knock every single tree on this property down. As you can see, every single tree on this property is down. And these people now have no buffer from the sand pit and the wasteland that this area is now. All right, and it's unfortunate, and also unfortunate that the pink lady slippers and all that stuff is all gone. All right, this was despite my protest, despite my pictures. I did everything except stand there in front of the bulldozers. And maybe I should have done that. Maybe I should have done that. Though I probably would have just wound up in jail. But I really wish people would get more involved. You see, this is an example of what happens when developers get their way and you have corrupt people like Sean Walter. All right, so I just wanted to show you what he has already done.
And also, we've also lost the ones that were a little further down the Hazeltine site. All right, and the thing with the Hazeltine site is the Costco that was constructed there, the person who built the shopping center was given permission by the Riverhead Town Board to clear every single tree from that property. All right, so as a result, there's no buffer for the surrounding areas, the people that live around, like there's a couple of developments in the back, old senior developments, as well as, I think, a trailer park. But the thing is, all this land was cleared, and only the Costco is being built from what I understand now. So that was cleared for future development ahead of time, and we don't know. That future development may not happen. All right, so those woods were cleared for nothing. All right, so he got reelected, and at his inauguration today, he said there are big plans at EPCAL. He says he cannot divulge what those plans are, but he has some big projects at EPCAL. Now, for those who don't know EPCAL used to be the Grumman property. It's in Calverton, across from the Calverton National Cemetery. If you've taken Route 25 along this stretch, you'll know how absolutely beautiful it is and how country and rural it is. It's an absolutely beautiful, beautiful spot. And unfortunately, Riverhead wants to subdivide this EPCAL property and sell it off to developers. And what this is going to mean is the loss of probably one of the largest areas of remaining unprotected pine barrens on Long Island will be lost. And there isn't really that much resistance from the environmental community on this, which is unfortunate, like the Pine Barrens Society and things like that. There's no resistance at all. And that's a real shame. And, I just, it is such a beautiful area, and it upsets me a great deal. And this is why I want to get more. We're going to do more videos on the property, showing it to you. But also, take a look at what we have there.
This is an overview of EPCAL here, and let me make that a little bigger so you can see what's going on. All right. Now, as I talked about, this lies in the Pine Barrens, and you can see all the woods around here, and the fact that much of this property is forested. All right. This is forested. This is forested. This is the only area that's developed is this area right here where my mouse is circling. Hopefully it's in sync for you. All right, and this is also wooded. All right, so what Riverhead wants is it wants to divide most of the property to the east of the Isaac Dog Park. That's this property here. Let's see if we can zoom in. That's this property right here. So there's this beautiful field of pitch pines right here. All right, that I've been here before, where my mouse is. Hopefully it's in sync. All right, so what they want to do is they want to everything to the east of this they want to develop. This whole area they want to develop. All right, and then the same thing goes for down here in this area. Most of this they want to develop. So they want to knock down these pine barrens as well as some of these as well on the east side. All right, so what should happen is development should only be permitted in the areas that have been disturbed. And you see, look closely and see how I'm outlining here with my mouse. That's this area right here that I'm circling right here. All right, that's the only area that development should be permitted in. All right, the area that will be preserved is only this side here. This western side here will be preserved. All right, this will not be developed, this western side right here. But everything else is fair game for development. And what kind of development could it be? Well, it could be anything. And let me show you how beautiful it is around here. We should be able to get you a street view, Middle Country Road here. And we'll be traveling east from that Isaac Dog Park, all right? So let's see. All right, so you can see here, this beautiful area, which I'm going to show you some of my pictures of. Everything to the east of this is subject to development. And so even these pines here, this beautiful stand of pitch pines may be subject for development. And it is a beautiful stand of pure pitch pines, and it would just break my heart to see this knocked down. I would have to try to intervene directly, maybe Sea Shepherd style, if you know what I mean, if you watch Whale Wars. What we need is an organization like Pine Shepherds. All right, maybe I should start that. People that actively get involved and protect the Pine Barrens, much like the Sea Shepherds protect the whales and other marine life. All right, now so this is a beautiful road here in the Pine Barrens, a beautiful country road. Sorry for that ugly truck there, but this is a beautiful road, typical Pine Barrens scenery. Route 25, absolutely stunningly beautiful. All right, this view may be changed forever if Sean Walter gets his way. All right, so this is the view on the south side. Just look at this beautiful view. This is one of the biggest Pine Barrens areas that's at risk for development. And it is unfortunate that I'm the only one out here really trying to actively get involved and stop this. But you know what? That doesn't mean anything, because I love the Pine Barrens. What am I all about? I'm all about scenes like this. I'm all about those great shapes. And I'm not going to let anything happen to these great shapes right here, because they are beautiful. So this is a view here of the field, and I want to just show you the beauty here at this EPCAL site. This is an open field here. This is next to that dog park, all right? And from where these pines are, eastward is slated for subdivision and development, all right? And this is a beautiful, beautiful area, important habitat for many species of birds, owls, butterflies too, which I didn't mention. All right, many different insects, every possible thing that's important to the Pine Barrens is in this spot. All right, And I want to show you some of the other pictures that I have for you. All right, so let me show you this one here. All right, this one also another view of the same area. Look at those beautiful, great shapes, those pitch pines. Just, man, just spectacular. All right, and we're going to look at this one here too. All right, and this is an example of the stands of pitch pines that are on the property. Spectacular. Just, this is all pure pitch pines here, and this also is just toward the development area.
So as you can see, it's a very beautiful, beautiful property, classic Pine Barrens. And most of this, a large percentage of this, except for this, the western end, is slated to be sold to developers and destroyed. And there's been very little resistance. Sean Walter is probably one of the worst. If I can think of anyone who has been worse for the Pine Barrens, I think Sean Walter. He has done so much damage to the Pine Barrens, and he has plans to do so much more damage to the Pine Barrens. It is sickening. And why is the state allowing him? Why isn't he being stopped by our Pine Barrens Society? Why isn't there a lawsuit to stop the development? Right now there's an environmental review going on, supposedly by an independent firm that was picked by Riverhead, but we all know that if it was picked by Riverhead, chances are it's going to be influenced. It is unfortunate. This is a beautiful area. It needs to be left alone. The only areas on this property that should be developed, or shall I say redeveloped, are the areas of the property around the old Grumman site that had buildings and stuff, the industrial core, so to speak. That's the only place that should have development at EPCAL. The fields need to be left alone, and the forests need to be left alone. They're key habitat, not only for the tiger salamander, which is endangered, but we also have barred owls there. We have several species of rare birds, and it's an important habitat. And why are fields so important, especially fields bordering forests? It is because birds such as the eagle, such as hunter birds, owls hunt, also, I'm trying to think of the red-tailed hawk. I said eagle. I think I meant to say hawk. Red-tailed hawks hunt there. Owls hunt there. They use the forest and then look at the fields, at the mice scurrying around. And I love mice. They're cute, but they are food for many types of birds. And those birds rely on those type of woodland field interfaces to hunt. If these woods are destroyed, that will mean that the bird's home will be destroyed as well, and they might die, or it'll just reduce their numbers further. All right, and this leads me into my next story here that I'm going to talk about, and this story also upsets me a great deal. East Hampton Village has voted to allow sharpshooters. These are federal sharpshooters to come in, and they want to basically. This is going to happen all across the whole East End eventually. Federal sharpshooters coming in to kill thousands of deer. They say the deer are an overpopulation and a hazard to people driving on the roads. That's what they say. But the truth is that there's been so much development out there that a lot of the deer that normally would be in the forest are now coming into people's yards and coming into other areas where they've never been seen before, because their habitat has been destroyed by overdevelopment. So when you come in and you knock down woods for McMansions or shopping centers, what's going to happen is the deer have lost their habitat. So now you have the same amount of deer and you have less habitat for them. So they're going to be more visible. All right, it's our fault. We destroyed their habitat. I am not against hunting of deer, but let's keep the current program that we have right now for having hunters, not federal sharpshooters, come in during the hunting season that we have. This month we have a hunting season every weekday in January, from the first Saturday of the month to I think the last Saturday of the month. There is, on weekdays only, shotgun deer hunting on many of our state lands, all right? And you can apply for a hunting license. That's a way of controlling the population, all right? And that at least goes to local people. A lot of it will go to the hungry and stuff, and I'm not against that. What I am against as part of that, though, is the restriction that people who aren't allowed to hike in these same forests when the hunters are present. I don't know why hunters and hikers can't enjoy the forest side by side. I don't understand that. Just wear orange, all right? You know, that's a nanny state law, all right? But to have sharpshooters come in and kill thousands of deer, no. I'm totally against that. You know, that is just wrong on so many levels. You know, we created the problem, all right? If you want to control the deer population, there are better ways of doing that, like birth control, like introducing deer. Because we've destroyed so many of our woods, we used to have a lot of predators, but they were hunted to extinction. We used to have wolves on Long Island. We used to have fox on Long Island. We hunted all those predators, and now that's why the deer have no predators, all right? And that's part of the problem too, so they need to be reintroduced also. But we have a Pine Barrens here that remained under attack in 2014. And certainly when you see, and I read an article like that in the Riverhead News Review, and I'll put that up here, it is quite unfortunate that this is all happening and still happening, and that we have a Pine Barrens society that thinks they've preserved the Pine Barrens, but they really have not. All right, and they, like I said, they do not respond to my concerns about EPCAL or anything like that. You know, I don't know what's with them, but you know, this year LIPA is no more. Well, LIPA is a small shell of what it used to be. It does not run the electric grid anymore. PSE&G runs the electric grid. Maybe it's time to consider New Jersey's much more successful Pinelands Preservation Alliance to come and take over the Pine Barrens Society and run it as a satellite, so we can get some more, because I can't do it alone. But you know what? I'm going to continue to make these videos. And I want to in this year I want to show you a lot of these beautiful places. I can show it to you through the Google Earth, but I want to show it to you in person as well. And you know, we've got beautiful places on Long Island. All right, we still have beautiful places. Why must people want them destroyed? All right, I know I'm going to be here and do my best to stop it. I hope you'll join me in the fight to save the Long Island Pine Barrens, because there's so much beauty here, and I just want you to realize just the incredible beauty we have here, and that we cannot let people like Sean Walter, who thinks because he got reelected, he thinks he can go ahead and violate the State Pine Barrens Act. The fact is, a large portion of EPCAL is in the core preservation area. There shouldn't be development there allowed at all. But he somehow thinks Riverhead is exempt to that. All right, that is illegal right there. So many things going on over in Riverhead town, and I will say Sean Walter has been one of the worst people for the Long Island Pine Barrens ever. All right, he is just a complete enemy of the environment. Anyway, take it easy. I hope this new year brings us better luck here for the Pine Barrens. But rest assured, I am going to be getting more involved than ever to save them. Thank you for watching.